Well, good afternoon. Welcome back to VP4 Online, and we're here for another match in the World Series of Pool 9-ball tournament. We've got two matches tonight. If you look up top there, we've got a match starting in about 5 minutes time between Semipro and Bedhead. These are second round matches, and race to 18. Remember the slag per break. There are no jump queues and it's alternate break. That match won't be finished by the time the second match tonight starts, which is between Cobra and LS3. That's due to start at 1900 British Summer Time in 2 hours time. Now we've just got enough time to have a look at the bracket because there are matches have taken place that I've missed. They've been at times that I've been working, etc., or too late at night. But we can see that Jose has been advanced against Ice Age to round 3. We've got Albinario through to round 3 after his win over Bill. We've got Mal through to round 3 after his win over MC Clarkey. We've got a result that happened, I think, this morning, maybe, I'm not sure, but Larry has gone straight over to the one-loss side again, and that's a good result for Snake Eyes. He's beaten Larry by 18 racks to 12, so Larry's got all the hard work to do again. We've got a result also between Popman and Smokin' Sid in the second round. Smokin' Sid won that one a little bit closer, 18-15. And we've got the match between Cobra and LS3, as I say, coming up later. If we go further down, we've got Cheeky Chico against Mr. Strokum, and when's that going to be? That's at 10 o'clock tonight, so obviously that one will go ahead. I'll be in bed. I'll be a long time in bed at that time, or at least I should be. So the result for that will be later on, provided both players turn up, and they should do, I think. We've got also the result between Tornado Tam and Linus. In the end, Tornado Tam ended up forfeiting, and Linus has gone through. We've got a match between Jeeves and Billy Bigrigger in round 2. That's still to be arranged. We've got Sergresh through to round 3. We also have a result between Simanx and Bankster. Again, fairly close, but Bankster won it by 3 racks, 18-15. And finally, down the bottom, oh no, it's not finally, we're not there yet. Hazard against Christian. That's due to go ahead tomorrow night at 7 PM. It should be, I'm saying it should be a fair result that Hazard should win that, but you never know with alternate break. Acero has beaten Tommy Yu quite convincingly. I thought that would be a lot closer, but Acero is a very capable player, and he's won that by 18 racks to 8. That's a good win for him. We've got the match that's coming up in about a minute and a half's time between Semipro from England and Bedhead from Sweden. And we've also then got a result as well between Quagmire and Mooncake, a comfortable win for Mooncake by 18 racks to, is that 5 or 6 or something like that? I can't read it properly. And there's also a comfortable win also for Spectre Dawn. Spectre Dawn has won against Shaft Tracks by 18 racks to 6. Now that's all the winner's side. There's nothing happening on the one-loss side. It's far too early in the tournament. You can see there's nothing arranged there, I don't think. So that'll begin to take shape as the days go by. Good evening to Mark. Right, anyway, we are about ready to go. I'm going to have to change the cloth colour, I think. Let's have a quick What room's it in? I can't remember. Is it in the hard times room? I don't even remember whether it is or it isn't. Let me just put myself in and... Oh, I'm in the wrong bloody table. 9 ball. Settings, miscellaneous, blue, OK, and quit. Right. The room is up. We've got one player in. Bedhead is already in. And they will lag for break. And then of course, here we go. And then of course, the onus is on getting lucky in the break, getting a ball and a shot, and running your rack when you have the break. So here we go. Can't remember who's who. But clearly the one on top has won that one. That's a poor lag from Semipro. So Bedhead with the break, a fairly straight rack. He's looking to break exactly where the cue balls appeared. Good evening to Potman. And straight away we've started with the dry break. 2 ball is dead though. Oh, I need to check my little doodle. And straight away as well, Semipro trying to split the 2 and 3 and he's scratched. Although, has he left a shot on here in this 2? It's fairly tight. He's trying to squeeze this 2 ball in. And the little bit of spin there has done the trick. Now he needs to avoid, and that's going to be difficult, avoid hitting anything down the bottom here. The angle's taking him straight into the 7 and the 9. He's trying to draw right off this. Well, that's worked out very nice. Clever little shot. And just a feather on the 4. So, just for any latecomers, this match is the first of 2 matches tonight. We have this one between Semipro and Bedhead, and then there's another one starting at 7 PM British Summer Time, another hour's time, and that's the one between Cobra and LS3. Obviously that will be started before this one is finished, at least that's what I'm assuming, so we'll keep an eye on the score on that one, and we'll jump straight into it once this one's finished. Now, that's unlucky that the 7 doesn't go past the 9, but he can certainly get distance here. He might even get lucky and tuck this in behind the 9 if he can just feather it right. I mean, he's looking to measure up the combo. Well, he's gave it every chance, but he's going to pay the price for that, though. He should have run for cover there. It was a lot easier to tuck that 7 ball towards the back of the 9 and make it difficult for Semipro, but as it is, he's just teed it up. It keeps going in and out of focus. Well, again, you need to go into the settings, the little cog thing or whatever there is in the bottom of Twitch, and adjust the stream quality. Bear in mind the stream's just started, so Twitch will be setting itself up. So 1-0 to Semipro, and it was against the break, and it was a bit of a gift from Bedhead. Now, if you hear any little sort of blowing noise. If you maybe occasionally get that coming through the mic, that's because I've got my fan on. It's quite a bit away, but it might pick up something now and again, but I'm not sitting here melting. Yeah, it usually will go on auto, so you have to put it to, you have to switch it to 1080 sometimes. A lot of guys that come on the stream, they don't know about that, and they end up saying the stream quality's crap, when in actual fact it's perfectly good. So Semipro has a good chance to immediately open up that gap. This is just a wee bit awkward, but just drop it in. Now he's just going to have to dig into this a bit, unless he thinks he can come off the rail and up. No, he's going to just drop behind, play it safe again. Again, just a sensible thing to do. So 2-0, and Bedhead has a chance to redeem himself if he can get a ball, but no joy. And he's going to find himself in trouble in a second here. Well, he should have been in trouble, but a bit too heavy there from Semipro. Bedhead can't get to the potting angle, so he's just looking. He needs to avoid this 7 ball. He needs to be careful here where he's pushing this 1. Yeah, that's a good shot. Now he's got control of the table. Welcome to Bankster. And Semipro again doing the sensible thing. Again, it's a strategy. Players, there's far too many players in Virtual Pool 4 don't even think about the deliberate foul when it's a perfectly legal shot. I think they've got some sort of conscious play, you know, some little voice in their head tells them it's not a nice thing to do, but you know, on the contrary, it's the only thing to do when you don't have a shot or any easy way of getting to the object ball. And to give yourself a second chance, you're far better trying to tie up a ball, exactly what's happened there, and give yourself a lifeline. That's all you're looking for to stay in the rack. And we'll see how it works out for Semipro. But if Bedhead's got any plans here, it should be to do the dirty on Semipro and get him locked up, unless, again, he's too straight, I think, to do anything with this off this 4. Well, he's got an angle, he's trying to do it, and of course you need a lot of luck for it to work out. And now this isn't quite as easy to leave Semipro no shot. If he brushes this towards the rail, it needs to come back out towards the 6. And that'll do. It's not a full snooker, but nothing on for Semipro. Now if he hits this with a bit of left hand English, he could maybe punch the 5 while he's filled the 6, and that's a bit of a disaster. And Bedhead has a chance, but he's just going to have to play it cautious here. I mean, he could just roll through in the 5 and roll the 6, and he needs to get off that rail. This is tricky now. If he's going to punch this into the middle, he's got to get that cue ball travelling. Well, he's drawn it back. That's a good shot. Again, the angle is not good. Okay, he's gonna. I mean, I don't know whether he thinks he can hold for this 8 ball, but the way I see it, he's got to run. He's got to run the cue ball, maybe off 2 rails or 3 rails just to get. I don't know whether that's hard enough, is it? The spins helped him. Well, that's 9 ball. Let's have a quick look at that, because if he ends up with one of his infamous bedhead cuts, this is frozen pretty much, and that's got to be good on it. He's still got to hit this flush. So off the mark. The mistake from Semipro, that's tilting to the right slightly, that rack. The mistake from Semipro, fouling the 6 ball, and Bedhead has taken his opportunity to get himself into the game. And a couple of balls in the break for Semipro. The double bank. The 4 and the 6 have gone, and it's the old usual comment, he should be out, they're all on. There's the only slight problem is the 7 ball, and it's how good he is in the 5 that'll decide how good he's going to be in the 7, and that's fine because that's just a slight angle in the 5, and the 7 goes past the 9, no problem. Now what does he want to do here? Does he want to take this into the corner or across in the middle? It's in the middle now, he's slightly the wrong side, so he's going to have to go forward, unless he wants to drop to the bottom side of the 9 down here and punch across and come back over. Oh, well, it's a little testy one just to read that angle. But comfortably in, and Semipro opens up the gap once again. Oh, and again, 2 balls in the break, but no shot on the 1, and he's got to be careful here in selecting what he's going to do with the push out. If he goes to the top end of the table, he needs to get right close to that top rail to prevent Bedhead cutting that 1 ball, and also to prevent Bedhead taking the cross bank into the top left hand corner. That's too heavy, I think. Yep, and again Semipro's struggling with his weight of shot there. That's the fatal mistake that we're saying he shouldn't be doing. And it was always a danger going to the top end. You have to get the weight right, and if you get it wrong with just a little bit much on the weight side, the weight side there, that's what put the cue ball back into play. This is, again, it's dead straight, so he can really only come back and leave the cut in this 8 ball unless he puts bottom and left. Well, he's just hit it plain ball. If he'd hit it bottom and left, the cue ball would have went further over to the right. But he didn't want to risk it, because as soon as you start, well, he's overcut the 8. You see, he should have risked the bottom and left English. When you're playing a ball up the table like that, and you don't want to leave the cue ball here, you want to drop back to the rail with bottom and left English, and it punches the cue ball that way, and it narrows the angle. Instead of this awkward angle, you've got that angle to pot the ball, and that's a major mistake there by Bedhead. But anyway, He's got it back to within one. Another slightly tilted rack to the left. Look at these balls. They're little, ripe little tomatoes. Well, there's only one that's red, but they're all just waiting to be plucked. Whoever can get in first. Now, well, Bedhead did go all out for the pot. Has he left enough of this one ball showing? I don't think so. I think Semipro can only punch this around, but there's traffic in the way. He's maybe trying to squeeze it in. Yeah. He's just trying to make the angle, but it's so difficult. The pace that he played it at was just a bit too heavy to actually let the cue ball do its thing there. Good evening to WizKid. So Bedhead has got the first real chance. Well, this is going to be very close to that 5. Oh dear. Well, this could backfire if he doesn't get the hit and get this safe. Well, it's not safe, but it's most certainly not easy. Cue ball's got to come off that right side rail and back across, and the danger is the 8 ball and the 5 ball. Well, he's played the drop. And I think he played it for that reason, because the danger was being locked up behind the 5 or the 8 if he was to let the cue ball run to the left side. So he took the much more difficult option. So the rack is still anybody's. Bedhead's gone all out for the bank. He's got the double bank. That 2 ball just squeezed past the 4 and no more. But now he should be running for cover, because the 7 and the 9 are good cover. But he's gone all out for the pot. This is what happens with these guys. They are honed in to try and run out the rack any chance they get. Again, this is the one that's going to be the testy one. Let's have a look at what he's got here. Well, he can get right into this cue ball and draw up to the left middle pocket as we look. And that's perfect. He's got a nice little angle, but he's got to get a good line off this 8 ball to make it comfortable for the 9. And once again, he just wants to get that stun draw working just up to the middle pocket, and that works nicely. Well, he's actually got a bit too much more juice into that one. But we are now back all square. 3 racks all. That one looks fairly straight. Ball in the break. 1 ball coming into, I think, give Bedhead a shot at least. I think it cuts past the 7. Well, it's pretty tight, but there's half a pocket there. Now, where's the 2 ball? Well, he's heading the right direction for the 2 as well. And now the problems start. The 5 ball is really going nowhere, but it will squeeze past the 6 down that way. Well, that's handy. Now I think he can just brush through He might run into the 8, but he'll just glance off the 8 and he'll still be good in the 6. Well, he's going to play the 6 in the middle. Oh, that goes as well. Well, this is falling into shape here. Well, that's just a little bit dicey where that the angle that the cue ball's going to the 7. And it's another entirely the wrong angle to get to the 9 good. And this is another testy one, so it's going to be the long shot to take the lead. Now, I can't remember whether that was against the break there, was it? Soon find out. No, it wasn't. So this is what then adds the pressure to the opponent. Once you're trailing in this format, there's so much put on your break and getting a ball in a shot. And Semi-Pro's got no luck. Now, of course, that distance that Bedhead's got behind the 6 ball, he's plenty of room to play a jump shot with his play cue, but, you know, pretty much every player doesn't play jump shots with their play cue because they're not reliable and they don't get enough practice doing it. But you can still jump. There's no, I mean, the rule means no jump cues, it doesn't mean no jumping. Bedhead's now in a spot of bother, and the bother that he's got is finding a line to get over to this 1 ball. Very difficult to read this angle if he's going off this long rail. Yeah, very, very difficult. And now everything is in the open. And Semi-Pro, well, is he going to get his reward in running out this rack? It's going to have to be a 2-8 combo. Now he just needs to be careful with the cue ball here. He needs to come off that bottom rail and back into the table, because this 2 ball could go funny. Yeah, it's hanging over the pocket and he's fine. And this is always a judgment of weight, just to get a good line on the 3. And he's heading away from the 4, so now he's got to check the cue ball unless he's taking a risk running around the angles on the right side behind that 6 ball. Yeah, he's just managed to check it inside. And now this looks reasonably okay. Wants to make sure he keeps himself with the angle to get onto that 6. He's got a wee bit more than he would like. Just another slight check of the cue ball on the right side, just to straighten it out into the table. And we will be back all square. And it's going with the break for the time being. Back to Bedhead in rack number 9. Ball in the break. Where's the cue ball going? Well, he can at least see the 1. And whether he can do a lot with it, I don't know. It's not probably worth it because the 2 and the 9 are locked up. So he's just trying to lock it away. Let's have a look. Well, if you look at that 2 and 9, they are absolutely dead set into that corner pocket. And that's the problem. The 7 ball's in the way. Well, that little nudge in the 7 is now, we've now got a 3-ball combo set here, and I would think Bedhead's having a quick look at it, because that makes his life easier in that he doesn't have to try and break out the 2 and 9. He can just come down the table, and he's overhit it slightly. But if he said a good look at the line, that 7-ball's got to do everything and go in the hole. It can't go anywhere else. And he's also left the 9, so that's a bonus for Bedhead. And that is a very nice, that's the type of racks you like, where everything's just falling into place with the combo. Yeah, it all went wrong there for Semipro. He just that 7-ball, if that 7-ball wasn't touched there, Bedhead wouldn't have had a shot, and a little brush in the 7 just knocked it right into line and set it all up for Bedhead, who goes back into the lead 5 racks to 4. And Bedhead has got another tricky thing to work out here. He can get on the 3, and then he's got to make a decision. Does he kill the cue ball or come out into the table and leave the cut on this 4? Because if he does, he can come around the left side. If he finishes here somewhere, he can pot that 4, bring the cue ball around, but he's got to be careful here, because this is a problem. This 7 and 8 ball, he can get on the 5, but there could be an issue ahead here. Well, we'll soon find out. Got to be careful with that 7 and 9. It's so easy to get on the 5. And he's trying to leave it square so he doesn't get impeded by any of them. But that means he's the wrong side to hold good for the 6, so he's going to have to check that again. Loads of left English on this, and he's got to watch that he misses that 9 in the sense that it doesn't fall into his path. Well, again, he's trying to just hold it rather than trying to come right across, which is probably the shot he maybe should have tried, and his chance is gone. And well, now Semipro has a chance he didn't think he was going to get in this rack, and he's got to make it count to stay on par with Bedhead. He can't throw this chance away. He's just going a bit too heavy up the table. Just got to get into this to stop the cue ball running in towards the 9. Got to draw to the side rail, and that's what's caused him to miss the 7. And it's simple things like that that create the difficulties for you. Just when you get that shape slightly wrong, it means you're having to work the cue ball more, and there's more things likely to go wrong. And from having a great chance there to pinch that rack, Bedhead's going to win out in the end, and more importantly, he's going to have daylight between him and Semipro. So once again, welcome to all the latecomers. We've got this match at the moment, race to 18, and we've also got another match to follow which starts in around half an hour's time between Cobra and LS3. Now obviously we can't stream the 2 matches, but we can keep an eye on what's happening in a Cobra LS3 match, which we will do, and then we'll join it as soon as this one's finished. Well, there's a stroke of luck there for Semipro. Got to take all the luck you can get. Not a difficult combo. Good afternoon to One Pocket Slim. Oh, well, I do believe he's overhit that by the country mile. I don't believe he wanted to be there for that 6 ball. I think the intention was maybe to play that in the right middle. And now he's got a really testy shot. And it's gone in off the jaw. Well, it's important that Semipro just stays in touch here. Did any of you guys, I don't know whether you saw it, Mark, I saw it in the teletext this morning before I went to work. There's some guy, I don't know whether he's in the UK or not, but he's a blogger. And I think he's 31 years old or something. And his blog over the last year or so has all been about COVID. And I think he was making quite disparaging comments about COVID, etc., etc. Various things. There's probably a story online that gives you more detail about it, but to cut a long story short, I think he was a bit sceptical about COVID, or at least that was a lot of the theme to his comments on his blog. Well, the last month he's been in hospital with pneumonia and he's died of it. So there you go. There's the punchline to that blog post. The guy died. Good evening to LS3. Good luck in your match. You've got to play. Here's some tactical advice. Don't miss. And don't do any numpty stuff. And take whatever chances Cobra will give you. Well, when you hear that the what do you call him? Was it the new health minister? He's had 2 jabs, and then he's self-isolating with COVID. What does that tell you about the injections? I mean, you don't need to be sceptical to work that one out. Alright, here's my advice to you, Cobra, as well. Don't miss any straight in 9 balls. And good luck. I'll be totally impartial as usual. Well, we're back all square. 6 racks all. The push out from Bedhead. Now he's left the tempter, and I don't think Semipro can refuse a go at this, because he's going to bring the cue ball back towards the 2. And he's had a go at it. And he's got away with it, I think. He's got away with it big time. It was worth the risk with that little tempter there. And, well, you need that little bit of luck. And that's got Bedhead in trouble. Now he's going to have to judge the spin. I think he needs a wee bit of left here. And if you get too much juice in this, you're going to hit the 8 ball. So he's looking at other alternatives here. I don't know whether the line's very great off the right side rail either. Oh, he's hit it. How's his luck? Well, it could have finished worse than that. Yeah, no jump cues. It's the usual. It's a setup I don't really like. But it's a good shot by Semipro. I think he's just under hit it. Yeah, and now he's got himself in trouble again. And if Bedhead plays this right, he can spin the cue ball in that direction up there and leave this 2 ball in behind you. Well, he hasn't hit it. He has not hit that at all. I mean, that cue ball should have been up the table, and this 5 and 9 should have been blocking. Well, Semipro put all his eggs into one basket there. And again, he may have got away with it. The reverse bank is on. Cue ball going up the table. Has he got it up the table far enough? No, well, it's a thin cut. Very thin. Well, if you get 2 monitors, stick it on while your match is on, and then that'll distract you, and then you'll play numpty shots. Well, that's a bit of luck. Nice little brush just to help the cue ball out onto the 4. So we know where the problem lies. Does he leave this square and play the reverse bank again on the 7, or can he find the gap? Well, he's trying to get there, and I don't think has the 9 ball done him any favours. Yes, it will go. The 7 will just go. Yep, into the knuckle, but he got the weight right. Well, when is the break going to come here? Who's going to gain the initiative? Bedhead had that 2-rack lead. He saw that disappear, and now he's back into the lead. Two ball goes in, top left, 6 hanging over the bottom right, and no shot in the 1. Well, again, he could go for the bank here. It's a risky shot, but the problem is he's not going to be anywhere near good in the 3. Unless he plays the bank into the middle pocket. He could play the bank into the top right or the top left if it's a double bank. But well, if this 1 ball comes out, it's a poor shot, because that's an easy combo he's left for Bedhead, and Semipro could pay the price here. I presume he was aware the 6 ball was hanging over the pocket, because that was always a dangerous shot to play. If you don't get that weight right to stop that 1 ball coming out into the table. Well, that's now left Bedhead a bit of a dilemma. He can use the 4 ball as a stopper, and he can spin around the bottom angles down here that way and get the cue ball back up there and sort of leave the 1 ball in here somewhere. But he's not going for distance, and when you don't go for distance between the 2 object balls, your opponent has a much easier shot, much easier options. He can bring the cue ball up the table, or he can send the 1 up the table. It's his choice, or he can go for the bank. And Semipro has gone for the bank, but of course, no chance of getting anywhere good on this 3 ball now. He has to be careful. Is he going to try and just brush the 3 and sneak past the 9, I think? Or is he trying to play the combo? Yes. Very ambitious, that one. Now, same again for Bedhead. If he takes the bank, it's only to give him control of the table, because he can get down for the 4, but how good will he be in the 5? Well, he's hung the 3. Oh, look at that. That is absolutely perfect for a full ball snooker. And Semipro can't get to it. Well, he's trying to... If he hits this too hard, it won't work. Yeah, he's hit it too hard. You've got to hit the massey at such a pace that the spin will be allowed to react and get around that 7 ball. If you hit it too hard, you know, the cue ball's already on the rail before the actual spin's working, and so it was never going to work out at that pace. And Bedhead now, although he's got a shot in the 3 to get to the 4, how does he get on this 5? Well, he's got the perfect angle. If the worst comes to the worst, he could run the cue ball up into the 8 or the 9, and he's bound to be in the 5. Unbelievable. How would that cue ball ever drop into the middle pocket? I mean, that was a perfect shot, just to rest towards the 9 ball or the 8, and he found a line directly into the middle pocket. And more importantly for Semipro, it gives him the chance to keep a tab on Bedhead and keep the match all square. Did anybody watch the Larry match with Snake Eyes? Larry must have had another off day. Well, 3 balls at least on the break. The 1, the 4 and the 5 have gone. A shot in the 2. Good evening to Mal. We've got this match on at the moment, and then in just over 15 minutes time, Cobra is going to play his 2nd round match. They're both 2nd round matches tonight, and Cobra and LS3 will be up at the top of the hour, so we'll keep an eye on what's happening in that game. But we've got no idea what's going to happen in this match. Bedhead looking to take that slender 1 rack advantage again. Break goes back to Semipro. Pressure's on. Every time you're trailing, you've got to get a result on your break. But no joy. No, and there's a great opportunity for Bedhead to get Semipro in trouble here. As long as he's worked out a line here, it's difficult with the 7 ball directly in front of the 1, but he can just feather the 1 and run down behind the 2 and 5. Or he can do that. And there's a big gap behind that 1. It's not difficult to get a line off the side rail to get to the 1, but there's such a big gap behind the 1. And, well, Bedhead's got his reward again. Can he make it count? Every ball on. No obvious problems to deal with here. It's all about just holding his line, keeping that cue ball in the right spot. Well, this angle he's got in the two, he's going to have to draw to the rail, I think. Going to have to punch this in. And if he gets too much juice in it, it could be locked behind the 9. No, he's managed to... Well, that was unlucky. He's managed to find a line, but the line just took him straight into the 4. But control of the table stays with Bedhead for the time being. Semi-Pro having to find some sort of shot, but again, I don't think he spent too much time looking at options. Not that he had a great deal of options, but might have been worth having another wee look at that. But of course, with this shot clock being so short, you don't get an awful lot of time to actually consider your options. Or short of what the sort of standard is for most tournaments, shall we say. But it still is a good chance now for Bedhead to open the gap for the second time in the match to 2 racks. Again, it's just the wrong side of the 7. It just means you're having to be careful with the cue ball. If it was another, 8-9 inches to the right, it would have been a lot simpler. Now he's got this just testy one for control and weight a shot to get nicely out in the 9. That'll do. Now whose break is it? Because this is important, this one. And Bedhead has stolen it, so 2 rack lead, and with the break. And I think the 8 ball has gone into the right middle, and he's going to have a cut in the 1. Well, very thin cut in the 1, shall we say. Yeah, not worth the risk. Once again, the sensible shot was there. When you don't have the easy shot, then the easier shot is to lock your opponent up. And this time Semipro has got the hit. He's got it fairly safe, I would say. But that 6 and 2 ball are inviting if he's got enough room to get onto this 1 ball and just squeeze past the 6 and 2. I don't think he fancies it. I don't think there's enough room. Well, now Semipro has the opportunity to try and get Bedhead in trouble. Well, I think he's going to go for the pot here because the angle and the amount that he can see in this 1 ball might give him a line and a guide to pot this up into that top right hand corner. He'll run into the 9. He may well still have half a shot in the 2 if he gets it. Nope, not interested. Where's the 1 ball going? Oh, well, Semipro can't pot it in the corner pocket, but he can cut it in the middle. Oh, that's unlucky. That's going to start to annoy Semipro. And you've just got to keep your emotions under control when you're not getting that little bit of running. But it's a vital one this time, because it could now go to 3. And Bedhead has got a slight angle, but he's going to have to play in the safe side here and leave the long 4 ball. And it just means that he's got to work the cue ball to get back down the table or up the table for that 5. Loads of room to get there though. Where's it going? He's missed the pocket. Well, the only thing that can go wrong here is hooking himself behind the 9. Just drop it in dead weight and he should be home and dry. Drop that 9 ball into the right middle pocket for a 3 rack lead and into double figures. So Semipro trailing by 3, hoping for a ball and a shot, and it ain't working for him. And this is why it can be so frustrating, this format. But there's a bit of an untidy mess there with the 5 and 6, so there's trouble ahead. And look at where the 8 ball is. The 8 ball's in one of the worst places it could be. Just right by that middle pocket. Slightly off the rail, but by no means easy. Oh, he got a lot of fizz into that. I think he was hoping to stun and hold that cue ball there for the 4, but that hasn't worked out. Again, he can put Semipro in a lot of trouble. You've got to be brave enough and go for it. There's a good chance he's going to lock up behind the 5 and the 7 here and the 6. That's a good shot. And again, Semipro coming to the table with no sight on the object ball. Just got to hit and hope. Well, that'll do. It's not easy. So the match between Cobra and LS3 is just 6 minutes away. A good cut from Bedhead. Once again, he's going to need another good one. Now, does he take... But the angle he has in this 5 ball means he can't do an awful lot with the cue ball. Does he want to risk running up towards the 6 or trying just to drop in behind it? It's going to be awkward. If he'd hit that harder, he might have ran the cue ball into them and got lucky, but you can never rely on luck. But he's left himself very difficult here. And what's worse has happened. He's brought the 8 ball into play, missed the 6, and Semipro's been given his lifeline in this rack. But sometimes you need that little bit of bad luck from your opponent to help you. And obviously if Bedhead had potted that ball, he brought the 8 into play, he was home and dry. But it's backfired. So, Semipro steals one there. But the break goes back to Bedhead. And this is what I talk about as well. You can't really get into a kind of rhythm with this format. It's stop, start, stop, start. And what's more, it's more annoying that, well, from Semi-Pro's point of view, Bedhead got a couple of balls in the break, a bank on the one, and he's left himself a really difficult cut down this bottom right hand corner if he wants to stay at the table. But the three's up at his end, and well, he's played the bank. Another good bank, and I think that shot there, that ball was the only one that's preventing him from regaining his free lead, and he's taking care of it. Just needs to double check this 9 ball just to be sure. It's fine. Well, this is it's a comfortable lead at the moment here, 3 racks, because it's so difficult for Semipro to work his way back into this. Especially with Semipro coming up dry with a break. Bedhead with the starter. And the difficult one is a 2 ball. This one, plenty of angle to get around and into the table, but he has to avoid hitting the 5. He has to find a gap and get out into the table off the 2 rails, and he's played it, making sure he's got plenty of room. How does that line look? Well, again, that's fine. He's got 2 options. He can draw off the 3 and take the 4 into the same pocket, or he can go through off the rail like that, but not hook yourself better. Well, he's okay. Oh, the yawning started big time. Well, we're 2.5 minutes away from the start of tonight's second match. And meanwhile, Bedhead's now forging a lead here. It's going to go to 4. And Semipro is going to be chasing his tail for the next few racks. And he can't afford causing further damage to this scoreline with self-inflicted damage. He cannot afford mistakes. And he's going to have to get some assistance now. It's a 12-8 lead in this race to 18 for Bedhead. And Bedhead this time has come up dry. And the 1 ball just goes. And this is now going to be a test of Semipro's nerve. Knows he's got to run out. And he's got to get to the side rail. And again, has to avoid traffic. And he's erred on the safety side. And he's left this a bit of a test. Well, that should be it now. Oh, he's overhit that by quite a bit. Didn't want to be anywhere near there. Well, this time it's against the break for Semipro. So what he'll do now, he would love a ball and a shot. But it doesn't look as if anything's going. Well, that one ball just been brushed in by the 9. And, well, he's got half a shot down the rail in this 2 ball. But everything's on, so this is a pressure shot. And he's played it well. And now he's got more trouble ahead. He's got to punch this 3 in and get the cue ball around the angles and out into the gap. How's the line on this sport? It is dead straight. And he's overhit it. He's just overhit it. Too much juice in it again. And he's leaving himself a lot to do here if he's going to pinch another rack back. And of course now he's got no shot. What does he do now? I mean, this is he could bash the 6 onto the 8 and hope it goes in off the 8 into the middle, but it certainly ain't cutting anywhere. Well, he went all out for the cut into the middle. Very, very difficult, but he was doing okay, but got himself out of line and his chance is gone. And it gets even more frustrating as well when you feel you're struggling to get yourself back into the match. You're trying your damnedest to run the table. You're getting yourself slightly out of line, putting even more pressure on that next shot. And all of a sudden, it's back to 4. It's 13-8. Bedhead knocks the 6 in the break. No shot though. But look at the 9. I mean, he's got to play the push onto the 9 surely. If he does that and leaves the cue ball down by the 3, then Semipro can put Bedhead in trouble, but he's surely got to get rid of that 9 ball. Yeah. That was the wise thing to do to make... you've got to make your opponent work for it if he's going to get a chance, but you can't leave that 9 ball over the pocket, and Semipro can feather the 1 and hide behind the 8. Oh, again he's hit it. He's hit it wrong. It's glanced off the 2 and come back into play. And there's loads of room if not Semipro, Bedhead. Loads of room to drop down onto this 3 He's just got to get the line right. Oh dear, what's he done? That's a terrible shot. Why didn't he let it run? He's rescued the situation there. He's going to have to do more rescuing, because this is by no means easy. And that's what causes the misses. And things just very quickly falling out of shape here for Semipro. He can't get himself settled. There is self-inflicted damage though. And that was not easy. And he'd Bedhead's overhit it as well, left himself right in the bottom side of the 5. Well, this is all or nothing here for Semipro. It's a difficult 4, but he's got to get it in the cue ball. Well, again, look at the luck he's getting there. I mean, he pots a good 4 ball right into the middle knuckle, and he's hooked in the 9 more or less. I mean, I think you can see an edge of it, but he's got to hit this cigarette paper thin to come around that jaw. He's decided to kick it, and that's going to be left on. And more signs of frustration for Semipro. Well, the gap is now going to stretch further to a point where it's going to be extremely difficult for Semipro to make any inroads into this gap. It's now a gap of 5, and Bedhead just has to mind what he's doing. He's only 4 away. Well, I know what I'd be doing. If I'm getting the sense that my opponent's getting a bit frustrated, then I'm going to make it my main goal to make it even more frustrating for them. But in this situation, you've just got to keep plugging away. Sometimes it can all of a sudden take a turn. The luck can change, and then you find yourself just gradually trickling your way back into the game. He's not down and out yet, but he's certainly down. He's got his chance to get to double figures. Now this is another slightly awkward one. I think he's going forward to go inside. Yeah, I think he's gone way inside. And once again, he's lost his shape. And he's struggling. Good recovery. Another testy one. Stun across to the 9 for a shot in the 8. Or is he going to run forward? He's running forward, but he's leaving himself the longer shot in the 8, but he's missed the 7. And there's far too many unforced errors now. That is certainly not helping his chances. The bank is on. Run the cue ball around. And Semipro has been reprieved. And he should at least be getting to double figures this time. Oh, goodness me. That is unbelievable. Well, that shot himself right in the foot there. That missing the 8 ball. Well, Bedhead's back to his favourite spot. The old Bedhead cutting the 9. And that's just going to hold enough. And that is an awful rack for Semipro. Well, if that's not kicking a man when he's down, I mean... But again, all self-inflicted. And the gap is now 6, and it's now... well, it's getting on to pretty much an impossible task unless fortunes change dramatically. But not only that, Semipro has got to get in shape. He's got to find his control, and he has to cut out all the errors. So the other match is well underway now. Semipro back in trouble. The sensible thing to do there was leave the 5 and the 1 ball as they were, because Bedhead can't really do an awful lot with it. Just trying to punch it and kill the cue ball, leave it awkward over the 5, and that will do very nicely. Just another kick and hope for Semipro, and he's got a wee bit of luck. He's flicked to 4 in, the 1's over the corner pocket, and he's got his chance. Cue ball still spinning. Well, look at this. It's just incredible. He's found the spot behind the 9, and he must be tearing his hair out right now. Give it a bash, amp it up, and hope. Oh, well. That might bounce and have no shot here for Bedhead. That'll do. Bedhead may well try and pick the line for the bank though, because he's got to be on the 5. And I think the 6 is going to come to the rescue. Well, it's a long combo. No option. Well, this time it ain't worked. Bedhead's got to watch. He's avoided the scratch. Well, he's ended up pretty straight on this 6. He's going to have to work it with the cue ball here. Just, I don't know whether he's straight enough that he can keep drawing up. Yeah, he's going to leave an angle on the 7. And he's again going to have to move the cue ball unless he leaves himself top side with a cut down the rail from distance. No, he's got right into it and get right on it, so we'll give him that rack for 16-9, 2 away. Now let's have a quick look at the bracket here, and we'll see that Cobra and LS3 are 1 rack all in their match. We'll set that for 30. And Semipro, well, his luck ain't changed. drying the break. Was it 3-1? Well, that scoreboard needs to update quick, unless my eyes have gone. I think it's more my eyes that are the problem. Yes, it is 3-1, I can't see. And meanwhile, Semipro having a kick and hope again. And it's ball in hand for Bedhead. Well, I'll tell you, if this keeps going the way it's going, Semipro will be well glad that this match is over, because it's ended up in a nightmare for many reasons. Losing his shape time and time again. The frustration of hooking himself 2 or 3 times. Bedhead locking him up. And no joy in the break. And Bedhead taking the opportunity just to nudge the 9 out of the way. Now this is a problem, because the cue ball wants to run into the 8 ball. Yeah, sometimes you just rather the pain was over. Somebody come along and shoot me and put me out of this nightmare. See you later, whiz kid. Good evening. Welcome aboard. Bedhead could have played that a lot better. I mean, he's ended up, again, the wrong side of the 8 ball here. He could have played that much better. Again, it just means you're having to do stuff with the cue ball when you don't really need to. If you'd got a better line in that 8, could have just dropped it in. He's checking it up again just to hold it, and again that's what's caused the miss in the 8 ball. But he should never have been there in the first place. It was such a poor shot to leave himself so bad in the 8. Well, this is a perfect example of the frustrations of this format. You know, especially when you're causing problems for yourself. Pretty much all the match. But you know, if you win the odd rack, and then the break goes immediately back to your opponent, you just cannot find a way into the match. It's so much more difficult to find a way back into the match in this format than it is in winner breaks. No doubt about it. But when you're not doing much to help yourself, then it all just builds up. You get so annoyed and pissed off and frustrated at yourself for the stuff that you're doing. So Semipro has got to double figures. It's a long way back. And he's missed a hit. And Bedhead, once again, with ball in hand and the table at his mercy. I think Bedhead's hinting that that Semi-Pro's bought one of these trackball mice. I think that's what he's saying. I think that's what Bedhead was getting at. Yeah, Semipro didn't get the joke there, but we all know what my opinion is on the trackball mouse, Larry's favourite trackball mouse, and I think that's what what Bedhead was talking about. Well, there's two different ways to look at it. This is not the best format for you to find rhythm as a player. But the one aspect of it is that there's even more importance on your break shot and getting a ball. That's probably the big thing about it. And that you make the most of your break. The emphasis is put on it a lot more because of that. But when you start going behind, it's much more difficult to get back, particularly against the better players where they're not giving you a lot. And that's exactly what Semi-Pro's finding out with this format tonight. But as I say, the bigger factor is the self-inflicted damage he's caused himself throughout the match. So Bedhead now on the hill. And it looks all but over. Well, he can only hook himself in the 7, can't he? But he's got there. Well, Bedhead has found a way to get himself in trouble. He's going for the... I don't think he can even get the crossbank there, can he? He might be able to. No. And he's missed the 8 ball entirely, I think, unless my eyes are deceiving me. Yes, he has. He's tried to thin the 8 ball, and he's missed it completely. And Semi-Pro lives at least for another rack. But once again, having just been gifted a rack, the break goes back to Bedhead to try and redeem himself. And a ball in the break. The 2 ball over the corner. The 1 ball onto the 2. And the 3 ball is very difficult. Now, has he made his mind up what he's going to do with this 3 ball? I think he's got to just come up and... Well, what's he trying to do? Break it out. And it hasn't worked out. It's just gone too far. Well, it's tight, but it does go. Well, we'll hear what Semi-Pro has to say if he comes into the stream. But he'll be glad this is over. I know the first thing I'd be doing if I had an old mouse, and I've got loads of old mice, I would mice over the years where I've bought a backup one. I'd have been on eBay and Amazon looking for one of these mice exactly the same as I've got. Because it doesn't matter what mouse you get in VP4, that's what I've found. And it doesn't matter what the DPI is in the mouse. I've got loads of mice that are 800 DPI, and I can assure you, not not any mouse plays exactly the same as the other. So Semipro gets another one back. I've got two Microsoft compact laptop mice that I bought years ago. I bought one and I've had it a lot longer than the other one, but the other one I bought as a backup. And I've also got two cheap little Trust micro mice. Again, same thing, I bought one and then a couple of years later I went online and bought another one as a backup. So I've got two mice where I've got a backup of each of them. Oh, tell a lie! I've got a third one. I've got a wired Logitech laptop mouse as well, where again I bought a second one. So I've always got a backup of those three mice, which also means that you don't necessarily need to buy a 60 or 70 quid mouse. You're better off buying a cheap one, and if you like it, then buy yourself another cheap second one as a backup. Because these cheap mice, the feet on them are not that great. They're generally just sometimes little buttons that can come off, and then you have to super glue them back on. But they'll wear off through time, so having a second one's handy. And your mouse will wear quicker if you're just playing it on a table rather than actually on a mouse mat. Particularly a metal mouse mat, where your mouse will glide an awful lot smoother than it will on just a plain surface. But the friction is higher on a plain table than it is on like a metal mouse mat, and so the friction then will wear the feet away quicker. So it's now 17 racks to 12, one away for Bedhead. And that may well be the mistake, because I think Bedhead might risk trying to jump over the edge of this, or is he trying to just spin it? It has to be played softly enough though. If you hit this too hard, yeah, you just got the pace right. Got to let the pace do the work and let the spin take shape. Oh, it was only the weight that let that drop in. But again, Bedhead's finished pretty much dead straight in the 6. Just a big draw back into the table. Has he got the spin? Well, he's got a slight bit of spin just to punch it to the left. And now he's just got to drop this in dead weight. Well, anywhere towards the left middle pocket, just above it, will do. And he'll be home and dry. And so Bedhead, unless he makes a complete mess of this, it's Bedhead that goes through by 18 racks to 12. Well, there'll certainly be no overture for Semipro in this match. And that's a little play on the 18-12 result. Anybody who knows a wee bit about classical music will know what I'm talking about there. But anyway, it's not been a good night for Semipro, and it's been workmanlike for Bedhead. He's just done the business given the chance, and so he goes through to round 3. And with that, we will head in to the match between Cobra and LS3, and we see Cobra at the table leading by 6 racks to 3, and looks to be in the process of stretching that as well. Well, that's what I'm saying. If
depends on the age of the mouse that you had, but the first thing I'd be doing is I'd be straight onto Google, on eBay, checking the bottom of the mouse and getting the proper product details of it, and seeing if I can get one online. That's what I'd be doing. Well, that's me giving out my free tactical advice. Get onto eBay and Amazon. There's bound to be one out there somewhere. So Cobra now, early on in the match, is going to be 4 racks in front. And already there's a lot of hard work ahead for LS3. It can start right now though. Got a ball in the break, but no joy on the 1. And, well, the 2 and the 4. Where the 2's sitting's no good. But you've got to get good safeties. That's of paramount importance. You know, you're leaving a shot for Cobra where he can gain the control of the table straight away here. He can go for the pot on the 1 if he wants, and he can still get a decent safety off the 2 ball. So he's got choices available here to put LS3 in deeper trouble. Yeah, I mean, all he needs to do is just brush off that 2 and LS3's snooker behind the 4. And that was always going to be happening. That's exactly the situation that LS3 left herself there by not getting a good safety in. You give control of the table to your opponent, you're asking for trouble. And now, with ball in hand, it's not quite as easy here to get to be going for 3 fouls. So if he's got this line pretty good, he can go for the combo. You know, this is why you have to be on your toes when you're looking for a safety. You can't be leaving your opponent a shot. So from a difficult situation where the 2 ball was, Cobra's totally controlled the rack from there on in. Well, this is where Cobra needs to be maybe slightly on the inside of the 6 or the outside of it, so he's got an angle to find his way down. He might have ended up too straight here. No, he's got a slight angle. He can just let it run, and he should be on the 7. Well, he's looking to play the big draw to get there. I think the line he had would have been good enough to get him there, but what's he done here? Is he on it? Is he on it? He's on the point. Would you believe it? Well, if he only took my advice, he would have been nowhere near there. He's locked behind the tip. Well, you don't think he'd had enough line off that 6 just to run forward? Well, LS3 won't be really caring. She's managed to get that rat taken care of, but immediately the break goes back to Cobra, who'll be looking to remedy the situation in this rack. I don't think, well, he has decided to move the cue ball. And, well, the break's dry. Straight in 1, 2 balls on, 3 balls over the middle, and the problem is the 6 and 8. Oh, well, that ain't going. Now, LS3 should have had a good look at that 6 ball, so it needs taken care of. Now, there is a chance here, if LS3 can cut the 4 and bring the cue ball down this way and go inside the 5, that would be an option to run the cue ball and get into the 6 and 8. You can't overhit this too much though. Well, that's going to end up too straight, I think. Yeah. That would have been a chance with that sort of line there to run the cue ball into that 7 or whatever the hell it was, the 6 and 8. Well, this is just a little feather on the inside of the 6, just a little brush so that you can get to the rail and put that. Well, she's looking to play the combo. I'd be playing the safe behind the 8 ball here. Just a feather to the rail. Just got to be brave enough to play the shot. Well, she got the combo, but look what happens. The cue ball's going wherever it goes, and it's ended up in the hole, and the chance is very quickly gone. Well, the safety looked a better bet to me, but you've got to be in full control and confidence with your weight of shot for those delicate little ones. Just to brush that ball enough to get the cue ball to the rail and just tuck it behind the 8. Took the brave option, made the combo, but well, with no control in the cue ball, it squirted into the top corner, and that's another rack gone. The gap's back to 4. Cue ball scratching the break as well for LS3, so I think I'm bringing bad luck on these people. It's going from bad to worse. Ball in hand for Cobra. I've just got to avoid the traffic here to get down table. Big wide open space. Well, anything but straight again. That's all you're asking for in this shot. Well, this has got to be punched in. He's going forward and around the corner. He's pinching an angle to go forward with a bit of left spin just to come around the rails. Got to miss the 4, which he has done. Well, it's pretty much a given that unless Cobra does anything stupid most of the time, when he's got a table like this, it's a given it's going to be run out. So he's just going to run over to the right side onto that first diamond probably. Oh, and the spin has pushed the 6 offline, and he's hung it, and it's got to be up and down here. Big target, this 6 ball. She's got to get this in every day of the week, but got to hit this at a gentle enough pace that the cue ball stays there. She doesn't want it to run round the angles here off this 6 and end up nowhere. It's got to just be run onto the 6 and nothing more. Oh, she's not found a line. And that's a pretty poor shot, because that's a big target, that 6 ball in the corner. There's a big margin of error even if you went to the rail first, but you've got to get a better line than that, I'm afraid. Good evening to Sid Plays. That's a name I've not seen before. Good evening to Potman. I didn't know you were in, Potman. Well, I think Semi-Pro's probably dismantled his mouse by now. That's probably lying in the bin. And I wonder if MC Clark is getting used to his mouse, because he had a very similar problem to Semi-Pro, and I spotted it straight away that he was queuing a lot differently, a lot slower than he normally would do, and he got the new mouse. Oh, Smoking Sid. I know the name now. Yeah, well, if you got a new mouse for the PCs, you not still got the... I mean, if the old mouse isn't broken, I presume you still got it. So, if he tells me what his old mouse is, I'll go and look and find one for him. Well, LS3 trailing by 5. Well, he is using a different mouse. That's what he said. Oh dear. And LS3's taking her eye right off the ball, trying to get delicate. And you've got to be committed to the shot. If you're not committed to the shot, you end up playing something daft like that. But there's the pressure of the situation as well. She knows that when you get that chance, you've got to take them. And that's just playing right into Cobra's hands. Well, it's already damage limitation here for LS3, but that miss there was unforgivable. And Cobra marches on to double figures. Good evening to Bedhead. By the way, Bedhead, I knew what you were talking about straight away as soon as you said something like, did Larry sell you or something like that. I knew what you were talking about. It went straight over Semi-Pro's head though. But I knew who you were talking about. Well, you see, that's the difference between me and Semi-Pro. I set my standards very low, so anything from there on in is a bonus. Well, LS3, is she going to... well, I would have chanced my arm there and hope to get lucky in the 4-ball, because you'd enough angle and spin to run into that 6 and 8. But is it a combo? Well, not exactly. It's going to the jaw, and, well, again, another really poor shot. And Cobra will have had a look at this 6 and 8. It's sort of going to the jaw. Now, if you're right down behind it like that, there's a little gap, so it's not that difficult to make that that combo. But if you're up the table trying to play that combo, I think it's more than likely going to go in. I think it's going in off the jaw. The more I look at it, the more I convince myself. Yeah, there wasn't really a doubt in it at the end of the day, but LS3, I'm afraid there's been some poor errors in these last couple of racks, and it's not helping her cause, I'm afraid. It's making it all too simple for Cobra. You've got to get the game face on when you're playing these guys. So Cobra breaks off in rack number 16. Break is dry, but no help for LS3, no shot. Well, once again, if you play down the bottom end of the table here with a push out, you're asking for trouble, because that 3 and 7 are sitting there and you're going to be locked up in a minute. Yeah, LS3 is going to be in trouble unless Cobra fancies taking the cut, but I think he's going to tie her up behind this 3 and 7, and that's just asking for trouble. Again, it's a thing I keep talking about. When you're playing the push out, you've got to see the road ahead before you play it. Well, he's gone the other way, but it's just going to be the same damage, and that is severe punishment for LS3. But she just opened the door and said, well, help yourself, Cobra, see what kind of damage and trouble you can put me in, and Cobra has duly obliged. There you go, help yourself. And this is now asking for 3 fouls here. Cobra said, I'll look at the 2, it will go past the 9, but does he want to make the effort to try and get there from where this 1 ball is? Looks far easier to put LS3 in dire trouble here. And he's, well, he looks as if he's playing the cut to get the cue ball running. And he's gone the other side, and he's got the cut. perfect example in that rack there about not assessing the situation when you're about to play a push out and to lay the table what you're leaving yourself open to. And LS3 walked straight through the door and fell through the trapdoor and put herself right in a whole heap of trouble. A push out isn't just about sending a cue ball to somewhere in the table. It's got to be somewhere where, you know, you're obviously conceding control of the table to your opponent, but you don't want to be conceding yourself into a hole. And that's, I'm afraid, what she did there. I could see it coming a mile away. And all it means now is, from the ball in hand option, the opportunity is going to be taken to extend the lead even further for Cobra. Well, I don't think it'll be anything fancy. Just drop the 8 ball in, finish the short side of the 9 and drop it into the opposite corner. Well, he might even go across. I think he's enough angle to do that, but he could just drop it in entirely dead weight and play it across the table. Yeah, he's just stunned it. So it's going to be 12-4 and a huge mountain for LS3 to climb that I'm afraid I don't quite think she's going to be capable. There's got to be wiser choices in the strategy side of it to give yourself a chance. And she failed big time in that last rack. Yeah, but I mean, Bedhead, you look at the lay of that table. What were those 2 balls up in the top left? The one thing you can't do is play the bottom end of the table, because if you leave that shot on, you're going to leave Cobra the choice. My choice would have been to put the cue ball there. His choice was to put the 1 ball there, but it was the same end result. It was just a failure to see the road ahead. As I was saying, you've got to look at what your options are with a push out and push to the right spot, and that was nowhere near the right spot you want to be there. So again, it's going to be the same old story. Everything is on, and it's just a set rhythm here for Cobra, minding his business, minding his work, and getting the job done. He's gone slightly inside the 3, which is fine. He can use a wee bit of help and spin if he needs, but he should be able to run off that end rail, or he can even draw off it. Again with this one, just got to hit this 5 ball flush onto that 6, just to leave it over the pocket. Well, this might be the old safest shot. Draw up the table, but not too far. Well, he just got there. I think it's all basically went downhill in this match for LS3 since I joined the room. Has she won a rack? Has she won one? I think since I joined this match. So Cobra wins that rack against the break. Leads by 13 racks to 4. 7-ball thought about it in the middle, but looked in the hole and then jumped away. It's dry but safe. Now again, LS3 in a similar situation, about to play a push out. And if she stays up the top side, she could be locked behind the 2 and 3. That's actually a better shot, because Cobra can't push through and lock her behind the 6 dead on, but he can go dead weight to the rail and try and use the 4, or he can go all out for the cut and the 1. But you know, it's not easy, is what I'm saying. So that was a better push out. So it gave Cobra the choice there. He went for a difficult 1. And even though the 1's been left on, it's nowhere near easy at that distance. And LS3 has not got anywhere near a shot. She's now going to have to kick. Well, she's going to try the jump. The combo's on, if she can get it. But it's so difficult to try and play a jump shot in this game when you don't have the jump cue. And again, it's something that none of us practice. I don't think there's anybody practices playing jump shots with their playing cue. Too much reliance on the actual jump cue itself. So when you decide to make that choice in a tournament like this, you're either going to nail it straight away or you're just going to duff it up. But it's more than likely you're going to duff up these jump shots with the playing cue than you are going to be successful. So this is a problem shot. Getting a shot in the 4. Well, he's run into the 9, which has worked out very nice. And I think he might just brush past the 7, or at worst just run into it, but that'll do and hold him very nicely onto the 5. Off the rail. Well, this is going to leave, unless he can get right into the table to leave this 8-ball fairly straight, he's going to leave himself an awkward cut here. So that, again, this is about judgment of pace and how he gets this cue ball into the table. That's what I'm talking about, getting it fairly straight, and that will do. I mean, he's got the choices here. He's putting a bit of left on it just to check it, to make sure it straightens back the way. Everything under control. And it's now a big, huge 10-rack gap. And, well, this is more than a mountain. And again, LS3 scratched in the middle. She's not getting a hold of that cue ball. So there's one thing that has to be worked on. Getting a break that controls the line of that cue ball. I mean, a cue ball can get kicked into a pocket, but spinning off the pack, and then I think that's twice that's gone into that left middle pocket. And it's, again, just wide open table for Cobra to pick up the pieces. Now, while Cobra is looking very much like he's going to run out here, let's have a quick look. This is the 25th. The matches that are going ahead. Just a reminder for any of you guys, if you want to watch it, there's a match later on tonight in just under 2 hours time between Cheeky Chico and Mr. Strocum, if you want to watch that one. Yeah, it's just roughly 2 hours from now. It's just gone 8 o'clock here. It's at 10 PM British Summer Time. I think that's all that's on tonight. Let's have a quick further look down. I think it is. Yeah, there's nothing else scheduled, so that's one more match if you want to drop in and see it, because it's way too late for me. I'll be very much heading to bed at that time. I don't think there's anything else further up. No, everything. Oh, wait a minute. There's one tomorrow night. Sorry, tomorrow afternoon again. No good for me because I'll be at work. That's in the one loss side between Shibo and Shaft Tracks. So, what's that? A race to in the one loss side? 15, is it? So, that's a match if you want to watch it. And meanwhile, Cobra is going ever closer to an end result here. It's now 15-4. Well, the balls are breaking good, but they're not going near a pocket. And again, LS3's coming to the table with nothing on and looking for a push out. Now again, if you push to the left side, over by the 5, you're asking for trouble. See, if you push down to the bottom right corner here, it leaves an enticement for Cobra. It also leaves him the option of pushing the one up the table and dropping the cue ball into that top right hand corner and using those 3 balls as cover. But it doesn't leave an easy pot, and plus the 2 ball isn't really going anywhere from there. Now that's always the thing that's going to be the likelihood, is that with those balls there and you can execute the shot properly, you're going to find yourself in trouble. But as long as nothing on the other side there has been disturbed, you've still got a lifeline. You could end up still being in trouble again, but it's not easy to run this table because of where the 3 ball is. And Cobra's had a look at the 1-9 combo from distance here, I think, but he's maybe looking at alternatives. He might be taking a risk here and trying to run into that 8 and 3 ball off this 1 and still be lucky and have a shot in the 2. It might be worthwhile doing it. And he's completely missed the 8 and 3. He's missed it entirely. Well, that's Cobra's poorest shot of the night. Big target, the 3 and 8, and he's missed them. All out for the pot, and it was only the pace that kept it out. Well, he broke the 8 away from the 3, but he's tied it up with the 7 as a backup, and LS3's got no help. Well, this has got to be a big risk. You've got to risk breaking these 2 balls up and hoping you still have a shot on the 4. And it might be the only chance you're going to get, but in this situation, you might as well go for it. And for once it's worked. And the 5 and 7 are pretty well set up as a combo. Oh, wrong wrong button there. Well, I think you've got to come back off this. You've got to punch this in to make sure. Well, that'll do it. Just to make sure that you keep the cue ball under control, as well as stopping that 5 ball going away somewhere. Well, that was not a good shot either. You've got to be able to just play into the table and then use the line off the 6 to get good in the 8. And she's left herself a tester. Well, it's going to be another rack in the board. And, well, again, damage limitation is just the order of the day. Try and get to 8 racks. Good evening to Semi. Semi, is this the new mouse that came with your new PC? And LS3 got a ball in the break, 9 ball in the break there. Well, that's a bonus. Every little helps, as they say. Yeah, that was such a delicate shot to fall into that gap and leave yourself closer to the 9 to be able to play a decent shot on the 3. It's still on, and the cue ball's heading in the right direction up towards the 4 if she can avoid running into the 8 ball. Yeah, it's just so difficult when you have to walk the cue ball as well as take on a difficult cut. Right, what make? What, you still got the old mouse, or did you bin it? What make and model is it? The old one. I'll find you one on eBay. I mean, I know when I was playing my best at VP3, I had an old wired mouse, a compact mouse, and it was dialed in perfect as far as I was concerned. And it gave up the ghost, and I could never get. It was a very old mouse, and I could never get another one. You don't know what the old mouse was? Well, that's you up the proverbial creek without a paddle. Because if you had to make and a model of it, I would have hunted one down. I'm guaranteed I would find one somewhere. So Cobra 2 away, back to a 10 rack lead. LS3's break is dry. Cobra on the 1. Problems ahead to be dealt with though. But I'm telling you, I was saying earlier, I don't care if you have 10 mice sitting in front of you and they're all, they're all cheapish 800 DPI mice. I guarantee not one of them plays the same as the other one. They all react differently. So they do. They've all got an entirely different feel. And if you keep and particularly if you do what I do and you keep your sensitivity in VP4 exactly the same, if you never touch it, once you've got it set, and then you change, if I change a mouse over, everything's entirely different from one to the next one. So it is. Well, you're only going to frustrate yourself even more if you persist with that mouse when in the back of your mind you're not happy with it. When you persist and persist to try and find that touch, and no matter how much you muck about with the settings, you can't find it. So ball in hand for Cobra. Drop the 5 in, roll the 6 up table, and if you're straight enough, roll through for the 7 into this bottom left hand corner. Well, it looks as if the 7's going to go the same direction, but it shouldn't be a problem. Nice little angle in the 7, just to punch it in and come back to the right. Now, again, well, you'll get every choice in the book here, wherever you want to play the 9 ball. Just try to drop behind it for it into the middle. And this will take Cobra within 1 of round 3. We'll have a quick look at the bracket just to see how that shapes up, but there won't be any major change other than, Bedhead going through and what looks like to be the inevitable Cobra going through. And again, they all broke extremely well. Reluctant to go into a pocket. Well, LS3's just looking at the cut onto the 3. I think it's all or nothing now. Well, she's got the backup, the 9 ball blocking, but it's an easy kick, and this cue ball could land stone dead here. Cobra playing it with bottom just to try and kill the cue ball, but it's just spun off the rail. but nothing left easy here for LS3. Well, Cobra could get really nasty here. He's just trying to tickle this one ball and sneak behind a 5. Or is he trying to squirt right around the corner? Yes, he's going right around the corner. Just enough of an edge. Now, can LS3 avoid the 9? Yes, she can, and that will do. That's a good shot. I mean, there is an edge of the 1 shown, but I always like distance. Distance can sometimes be just as good a safety shot. But not when the 2's over the pocket. Little cannon onto the 2. And Cobra is going for the kill. He's just going to pot that 3. And probably take the 4 into the right middle. Although I don't know whether he can still hold it with this angle. We'll see whether he can drop it in, or whether he comes around the corner and play the 4 into the same pocket. Well, that's what he tried. A little delicate shot. But again, he's got the emergency backup. An easy kick for LS3, but it's the old kicking hole. Well, LS3's clinging on by her fingernails. And immediately Cobra has got her back in trouble. Once again, it's not a difficult kick. It's just, you've no idea where you're going to be leaving things, but this time the 3 ball has been missed. The push onto that 8 ball, well, it's well off the rail. That's fine. And this should be the coup de grace, as they say, for Cobra, just to seal the deal and get this match over and done with. I think he's slightly straight on this 6. Let's have a wee look. No, he's got enough angle there. He can pinch and go around the corner if he wants. He's just looking to draw it into the table though. Nope, going for it in the middle. Well, it's going to be a long 8 ball down the rail. He's just going to run forward with enough pace to get across the table. And we know that that 8 ball is nicely off the rail, so he can stud into the table, take the 9 into the same pocket for the match. So a very comfortable win for Cobra. And a few lessons to be learned for LS3. It's tough, but you've got to make it a bit tougher for your opponent, no matter how difficult they are to play. But it is a comfortable win. It's 18 racks to 6 to Cobra, and LS3 moves over to the 1 loss side. We'll have a look at the bracket. So from top to bottom on the winner's side, we've got Jose to play Albinario, Mal to play Snake Eyes, Smoking Sid to play Cobra. Well, that's bad news for Smoking Sid. He's seen what he's up against, but if he plays wisely and gets a wee bit of rub of the green here or there, can maybe make it a good match. There's the match we were talking about that's on later on, and that is pretty much it on that winner's side. The match between Hazard and Christian is tomorrow night at 7 PM. Acero to play Bedhead. That should be a good match. I don't know what times that'll be at, but again, Acero's in Japan. Bedhead's an hour in front of me in Sweden. And Mooncake to play Spectre Dawn, and again, should be another good match, that one. Well, so now we've got the match between Semipro and Tommy Yu on that one-loss side. And, well, that started about 10 minutes ago. And that's a race to 15. Have a quick look in here. Well, let's just be diplomatic, LS3, and say you didn't help your cause very much, and leave it at that. But we all know that you leave an open table for guys like Cobra. They're only going to do what's expected of them. Well, I thought it all went downhill when I joined the room, because I think for the best part of that match, I think you hadn't won a rack, or you won one, and then went through a whole stack of racks that you didn't get. So I thought I was blaming myself for bringing bad luck on you. Well, Tommy Yu's got off to a good start. He's got 2 on the board. And Tommy Yu pouncing on Semipro, trying to take advantage of a man that's down after that last match. Well, ball in the break, shot in the one. Now, there is an angle to run across and run in to that 4 and 2, but the 4 does go, so if he can get over to the left side here, he doesn't need to break them up. Well, he's got across, but he's got the wrong angle on this 2 ball. And I don't think he can avoid hitting the 4 either. Yeah, that was very difficult. Now Semi-Pro's got a chance. Well done, Cobra. LS3 was saying she was playing worse before I joined the room. I thought it was the opposite. I think it went for goodness knows how long, where she only won one. Right, she was stuck in 4 for it like an eternity. again, Semipro struggling. Got himself way offline on this 6-ball. Well, he's got the pot as well as the billiard onto the 7, but again, you know, that's not going to get him good shape. It's another toughie that he's left himself with to get on the board. But he's played it well. And now he's also got the break. Well, you see, that's the thing about this format. The shot clock doesn't give you an awful lot of time to maybe assess certain situations. You know, you're looking for options, and you know, no sooner are you looking for options, but it's ticking down. So Semipro looking for the 3 fouls here. Now he's got to get cover though, and again that's a poor one. There's loads of room to tuck that cue ball away behind the 7 or the 4 or the 9 or the 3. And he's now got another chance just to skim the 1, try and tuck it behind the 2. And he's managed to get there. Right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little break for a minute or two. I need to see a man about a dog, and I'm going to put the kettle on for a cup of coffee because my intention was to take a break there after those 2 matches. So I will be back in about 5 minutes time, guys. Just hang in there. Right, I'm back. Have I missed anything? No apologies, by the way, for my slurping of my coffee if you hear it. I'm not going to mute the mic every time. I'm choking for some caffeine. So Tommy Hughes got himself into the lead and looking good to open the gap. I'm also chewing on a biscuit as well. I need nourishment after those last couple hours. Well, Tommy Hughes again playing up to the top end. Could may well find himself in bother. There's a huge area to use for cover here for Semi-Pro. Well, if you can hit this full in the face while he's blasted it, I was thinking more in line of letting it run through, but of course you obviously have to get a ball to a rail. Now, he could have left it in a worse position. That's actually ended up not too bad. Well, just a tiny edge, but it means the three balls going on to the, the one ball's going on to the three. Might be better to kick it. Well, I see, that was always going to happen. He was trying to get back behind the 9, but he's fell way short, and all he's done is given Tommy Hughes a free go here. You know, just to hit the... It would have been better probably giving that a blast off the side rail. But as a free go for Tommy Hughes. Well, would you believe it? He's not got to the pocket. Right, that's the biscuit gone. So no more crunching of that. Well, that was a bad error by Tommy Yu, not getting the ball to the hole. Semipro takes advantage, back to within 1. But once again, can't buy a ball in the break. Now, did everybody leave when I left for 5 minutes to go and get my coffee? Or is somebody still there? Am I talking to myself here? Well, we've got a possible 7-9 combo down in the bottom rail. But it's not easy to get at. Ah, Cobra's still there. And this is gone on the wrong side. It's going to have to be taken long, and he's going to have to leave a long cut in the 4 as well. Unless he thinks he can get to the rail. Well, he's got to the rail, you know, avoiding the scratch in the middle pocket, but he's missed the 3, and again, this isn't helping Semi-Pro's cause here. He'll be getting even more frustrated. Well, this time the double kisses has helped him slightly. Now I'd be brushing off the right side of that 3, running it into the 5, sending the cue ball over behind whatever it is up there. That's the 6 and the 4. Using them as cover. That would have been my shot. Now, has Semi got himself a shot here? I don't think he has. He can't get there. Now, well, the only saving grace is where the 7 ball is. Is he looking to bank this up and down? Nope. Well, it's not a bad effort. That will do. Not difficult to hit the 4, of course, but again, there's that emergency backup of where the 7 ball is with the 9. Although if you can get down, well, that's going to move now, I think. Nope. If you can get down that right side, you can certainly have a go at the combo. Well, Semi-Pro needs to get the cue ball out into the table here off this 5 ball. That's not bad, but yeah, he was far too straight, so it's going to have to be an attempt at the combo. You can see that's going to the rail. That has to be made, and it would have been much easier if you were further up the table. But in it goes. Where's the cue ball going? Cue ball's fine. And the match is back all square. So, there's been a wee bit of carelessness by Tommy that's led to this happening. And of course now the break has gone back to Tommy Yu. He's got the 3 ball, the 6 ball have gone, and he's got a shot in the 1 and everything else on. So if he can get this and get on the 2, he should be out. That's going to be nowhere. Well, he's got to go for it. And he should be skimming past the 4 ball off the side rail, probably the end rail, or just out into the table, depending how he's playing it. No, he's managed to get across. That'll do it. But that was a good recovery from not an easy position. Well, this is going to have to be down the cushion. And he's got to get that forward momentum in the cue ball as well. He's got to punch this because he has to get this off the side rail and down and across for the 9. And he doesn't want to leave himself high up the table in this 9. He's got to get it moving, this cue ball. Well, this is going to work out if that 8 ball hangs, but it hasn't worked out as far as the cue ball. And Semipro has a lifeline. Well, I think with this, you just look at the line to the rail and the side rail and play the cross bank and give it a bash. Give it 2 chances of going in. Well, I would have hit it a lot harder than that. I would have had the amp on. I would have risked the scratch for the cue ball, and I would have bopped at so it was going hard enough to go in either pocket. Again, it's not left anything easy for Semipro. Well, the thing is a lot of players that have got the fancy mice with DPI switches on them, you just up the DPI if you want sometimes, but it also depends on what you have your sensitivity at. If it's a high DPI mouse, sometimes the quicker you just whip that mouse back, it'll apply the same effect as using the amp. Again, it's all to do with how the particular mouse reads the game, because there is definitely no 2 mice are the same in this game. I've done enough testing to know that. I mean, my old Logitech G5, it's got the button that chooses 3 different DPI settings, and I just need to hit it once to use it as for the brake without putting the amp on. So Semipro now finds himself in the lead. Now, can he build on it? Give him a wee bit of confidence back. Well, the weight was was perfect. The line just wasn't there, or he'd have been nailed in behind that 2 ball there. But it's a Chinese snooker. Of course, there's trouble ahead for whoever gets in. That looks like the 6 and the 8 ball are tied together at the top corner, so top left corner, so there's nothing doing up there unless you can play the 3 ball onto the 8 and the 6. That might be an option. I mean, the 3 ball doesn't go, so you might as well try and get into this position to be able to play the 3 onto the 8 and the 6. And then you're just riding your luck that you'll still have a shot in the 3. Sometimes you have to just make do with what's there rather than trying some sort of miracle shot. And that is pretty good. He's given himself every opportunity here. And now that 3 ball is going to come across here. So he's got to watch the weight. If he just hits this a nice weight, he's going to make the cut onto the 8 while he's blasted it. That wasn't the shot. If he'd played that a nice even shape pace, the 3 ball had to go that direction off the rail, and now he's missed the 3 completely, and the shit has hit the fan, I'm afraid. That was not the way to play that, I don't think, from my point of view. I mean, you know that 3 ball is going to cut the 8 onto the 6, so you know the 3 ball's going to square onto the rail and come off the rail and go over to the right near the other corner pocket, so you have to play it at such a pace that you're going to keep the 3 ball in play. But when you blast it, you're just leaving it to luck as to finding shape. You had a more guaranteed way of getting shape. But Semipro still has a 2-rack lead. He's at the table, and if he can get on the 7, he should be stretching it to 3. Well, from this update that Steve did, I'm still finding that there's a reasonable percentage of breaks from the close to the side rail are still those dead breaks where like 2 and 3 balls just stay in the cluster in the diamond. They don't really move, so you're getting those dead breaks that way. Sometimes you're just better breaking from where the cue ball appears and just keeping a slight hold of the cue ball so it's not going forward. That's maybe one thing that LS3 wants to look at, because that cue ball was just going loose on a couple of those breaks and it scratched the middle pocket. But if you can get, I mean, it might have changed slightly. If you can get the Albi break working, there generally is always a ball going cross table into a middle pocket. But I don't know whether enough breaks like that have been tried to see if that's still falling into shape. I mean, you've got to hit a fair percentage of breaks to see how the balls run. I mean, when I said once that update went in that day, I went in for an hour and I practiced the break, and I was getting the 9 ball to go towards that top right hand corner pocket on a few of the breaks, and I had a couple of 9 balls in the break doing that. That was going back to the way VP4 was during testing, when Larry showed me him trying some breaks, and he was getting the 9 ball to go to that top right hand corner on far too regular a basis, And once we told Steve about that, that's when Steve started meddling with the pack to prevent that. In fact, that's how the change of the pack came into the game, because as far as I know, that it was a straight rack up until then, and then Steve changed it so that that 9 ball wouldn't be tracking to that top right hand corner. And that was, of course, Larry breaking from the right hand side. Oh, is this rack money? I never even looked. Hang on a sec. I never even looked to see if it was. Blah 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 blah. Pocket size table. Aye, rack money is on. Yes, it is. So that does make a difference. I never even checked that. Aye, so with rack money, you've got the, instead of the 1 ball being on the sort of head spot of the triangle, it's the 9 ball that's on the head spot, if you know what I mean. It's moved up the table by like 6 or 7 inches, or maybe not as much as that, but then the balls are, you know, they're physically going in different directions when they're breaking as opposed to what they're doing in the normal standard rack. So it does change the physics in that sense as to where the path the balls will generally go if you're trying to look for any sort of pattern. But that's the difference I've found. I mean, I studied that World 9 Ball Championship that was on Sky, and I watched, Shane Van Boning in particular, but because he was probably averaging more balls in the break than a lot of players for a period of time. But on average, you know, they were getting like 2 balls at a time. And the amazing thing is how it changed when they changed the rack. For the first part of that tournament, in the knockout stages and the sort of group stages that they had, they were using the Magic Rack. And when the Magic Rack was in play, the 1 ball was going into the right middle pocket every time. Or the left middle pocket, obviously depending on what side they were breaking from. But that was pretty much a given that ball was going into the middle pocket. And other balls were going in as well. Their averaging balls in the break was a lot higher than VP4, and that's where VP4 differs from real life. The pros were breaking with that Magic Rack, and it was guaranteed pretty much every time they were going to get a ball, if not the 1 ball. And then for the second part of the tournament, where it was knockout, you know, you lose 1, you're out. They then moved to the triangle, the normal standard rack, and obviously then you're placing the balls into that triangle and creating a diamond. It was entirely different. They weren't getting the predictability as much as they were getting with the Magic Rack. And maybe that would have been an option to put into VP4 because there's no predictability at all. And there hasn't been since the setup was changed when Larry was getting that 9 ball either going in or going over the corner pocket. But anyway, suddenly Semipro finds himself 5 racks in front, and Tommy Hughes got work to do. Well, you know, the Magic Rack then would be putting the balls right on a physically straight line. I'll say that again. A physically straight line right through the middle of the diamond, from that middle diamond in the bottom rail to the middle diamond in the top rail. It would be physically straight, and all the balls would be, well, as near as damn it touching as they can be in Virtual Pool 4. Whether that would change the break and bring that predictability back into it, there might be a chance of that happening, and it might be something that'd be worth doing, where you could where you could then have you could set up a match or set up a tournament where Magic Rack is on or something like that, but you probably have to change the name because it's probably copyrighted as a branded product, the Magic Rack. So you'd have to rename it to something else in case you get took to court. But it could be an option for offering variability in the setup of the matches as well as tournaments. Well, the combo or the billiard, the stun down onto the 9 is what the plan is here, I think. Bear in mind that Tommy U's probably listening now to what I'm saying because he's in the chat. And he fell into the trap. Oh, that was a good effort. But it's a chance for Tommy U to pinch one back here. Right, the coffee has been consumed. The caffeine is taking effect. And I feel a lot better after that. What's he done? Well, this is a bit dicey. Well, he's fine. He'll be past the pocket, but he's going to leave himself awkward in this 8-ball. Unless he thinks he's got enough room to work off that rail. If he gets into this too much, yeah. That'll do. Testy little cut. I think you're all that's left, Cobra. You and Tommy when he was in, if he's still in. Everybody else has gone to bed and abandoned us. So against the break that time. Well, I heard 2 balls going in. And what's more, Tommy U's got a shot in the 1. Oh, Sid's still awake. Well, this is going to be really difficult. That 2's fairly close to the bottom rail. It is off the rail by the look of it. But this cue ball, he's going to have to get a lot of zip into this if he's going to get this moving. Let's have a look. Yeah, this has got to be, well, it's a good 10 millimetres off that rail, so he should be able to chip this in, but he's got to go up the table and back down. But unless he puts something in the cue ball's going to go right, like that. Well, the fact that he's missed the 2 doesn't matter because he's left it safe, but the cue ball was always going to head right. Semi-pro running for cover. He hasn't got the snooker, but he's got a good distance. And Tommy U, if he can feather this, try and squirt back up the rail, that's a good shot. As long as the pace keeps the cue ball in the table, that's excellent. And that's got Semi-Pro backed into a corner. He thinks he can just chip the rail and catch it. Yeah. Well, my eyes aren't that good, but that was really a really tight one to try and get enough off that rail to just chip the two. But of course, there is the emergency backup. The 6 and the 7 aren't any good where they are. The 7's nowhere near set as any sort of combo. So the next best thing is getting somewhere good on the 6. Can he get enough to see it in the middle? Oh yes, he can. You can get that in there, no problem. Well, this is run it in, around to the right and up into the table on the right hand side. And the pace is pretty good. So it's 2 in a row for Tommy Yu. Break goes back to Semipro though. Now is he going to get some joy here? Well, that's a start. The 7 ball's gone in, but look at where the 8 ball's rolled. Right in front of the net, the 1. And Semipro pushes it safe. But I think, well, there is an enticement there. I was watching the when I got up. Obviously, when I get up in the morning at 4 o'clock, the Olympics is on because you know, Tokyo's like 8 hours in front or something like that. So it's in the middle of their day, and all the Olympics is on. You know, all the different events. And when I got up this morning, they were showing. I don't know what it's called, but it is skateboarding. They're on a, you know, a pre-built sort of arena where there's different things, you know, the metal bars and stuff, that then steps or things like that, and slopes. And I was watching, you know, the guys doing the skateboarding, and they get marked on the tricks that they do. They get deducted for repetitiveness, you know, maybe doing the same trick once or twice. But they don't get deducted any points if they fall off, which I have to say, having watched the skateboarding this morning, then it's just as well they don't get points chalked off for falling off the board, because there was a whole pile of them falling off it when I was watching it. I've never seen that. That's a new event, that one, in the Olympics. So Semipro now in double figures, but of course now he is only 5 away, and Tommy Yu in a precarious situation at the moment, trailing by 4, and he's found himself in a hole. Now, I don't know whether that was a legal shot or not. We'll soon find out. It was too quick for my eyes. Yes, it was. But now, Tommy has got a wide open table Needs to find a gap between the 5 and the 7. Well, this 5 ball's got to go into the right middle pocket, I would think, to get good in the 6. Well, he's going left middle pocket. And, well, again, can he hold off this 5 in behind the 6? Or is he going to go down the table and back up? And that's always a danger. Commentator's eye. It would have been better to take my option. That would have taken the scratch in the middle pocket out of the equation. And it's given Semipro a free go. Well, it's looking like it's backfiring here for Tommy Yu. Trying to take advantage of a man down. And he's now got himself in the mire. And he's gifted a free run out there of the remaining balls for Semipro. And now the gap goes to 5. Oh, cue ball. The cue ball again. Running far too loose. You've got to try and get that sort of spin to stop the cue ball. And so the scratch and the break for Semipro this time. Now, let's have a quick look. Well, he's nudged the 8 ball there. But that 8 ball is about a millimetre off the rail. And the 4 ball, well, it does go. Well, I don't know whether that, I think he tried to run it in off the 7. Or he got the shot wrong, but the thin cut was on. And Tommy Yu almost got away with it. Just enough of the pocket there for Semipro. And well, he's from where the 7 ball is, he's going to be playing this 8 ball fairly long. He's going to have to work the cue ball a wee bit here, because we know it's fairly tight to the rail, this 8 ball. He's going to have to just work the cue ball to get it back into play to get half decent on the 9. And again, he's gone a bit more straightish than he would really like, but needs to get this punched in. And he's overcooked that by quite a margin. Not easy, this shot. But no problem. Well, that's definitely tilted left. The 1 ball's further to the left than the 6 ball. And a ball goes in, and another ball goes in. The 6 was one of them. But again, it's the 9 ball as well. Well, what a bonus that is. Well, that one looks a good bank into the top right hand corner past the 2 ball, and he should be on the 2 after it. Well, he's gone all over the cut. Good cut. And again, this is another, it's a tricky control shot here with this angle. And that's probably as good as you could expect. Needs to be careful he doesn't just drop in behind the 6 here. Well, he's well away from that. But this is a must here for Tommy Yu. If he's got any glimmer of a chance of staying in this match. Oh, well, this is going to be the obvious shot. Push this to the bottom rail, lock up behind the 8. And again, I don't know what the line was like. I never got right behind it, but it's not a good outcome for Semipro. But if you've ever got any doubts about your mouse or you're not comfortable with it, then there are certain shots that you're going to be that bit more tentative on, because the reliability in your weight of shot isn't there. So you're not getting that control and that comfort, you know, to be able to play a shot comfortably knowing that it's going to get there. But Semipro gets another go. And again, another testy one. It's not always that easy just to pick the line. Well, the little brush onto the 9 will do nicely. And there's this a little skim on the edge to drop it in. Well, he's taking it down to the bottom pocket. But he's 2 away from survival in the tournament to move through the 1 lost side. And this time, Tommy Yu breaks, 7 ball goes in. Shot in the 1 and no miss from here on in. Well, this is hindered over the 4 ball. He's got to run this in and run through, but it's dead straight, which leaves your opportunities for choice of shot fairly limited. He can try and pinch a little bit. Well, it looks as if he's playing the cut up the table now, and he's got. Well, he's certainly not going to have anything easy, whatever he's going to try here. But he could pinch a slight angle into the middle. It's so difficult though. But it's giving Semipro the chance to tidy up another rack. Again, I think he's finished dead straight. So a big punch just to get up the table, be able to see the 5 and drop round behind the 9. Just drag it around. That's all you need to do. But leave some sort of angle off this 6 ball, and that will do nicely. There's enough there to work with to go over to the right. So, Semipro, one away. And he's got the break. Well, how about finishing it off in style? And the answer to that is well, 5 balls gone in, but no shot in the one. Well, it's a good bank, this into the corner pockets, if he hits the right pace. And that is perfect. Now, has to finish on the bottom side of this 3, or he has to be taking it long past the 6. So he's taking it long past the 6. But he's just gone too far. Does he think he can still squeeze this in? And the line of this cue ball will take him down onto the 4. Has he got there? Yes, he has. Just and no more. Well, don't draw into the middle pocket. And he's the wrong side. So, big stun. And that's perfect. Pretty much so. So, Semipro with this 9 ball will live to fight another day and give him more time to work on his mouse. He has beaten Tommy Yu by 15 racks to 7, and we'll have one final look at the bracket, which may well have updated. No, it hasn't. Or has it? Where is it? Aye, there it is. So, Semipro has got a while before he needs to play his next match. The deadline for that is August the 13th, so he's got a good while to get some work done on that mouse and try and get it dialed in more and get a wee bit more comfortable with it. As I say, there's a match at 10 o'clock tonight, guys, just a reminder. That is in just roughly half an hour's time. I can't remember where it is. Where the hell is it? That's the one for tomorrow night at 7 PM with Hazard and Christian. British summertime, that is. And the match tonight is Cheeky Chico against Mr. Strocum. So, good luck to them. That'll be in about, it's about 37 minutes time. Meanwhile, that is it for the night, folks. Thank you for your company. Well done to Semipro. He survives. Unlucky to Tommy Yu. Maybe you should have let things cool down, Tommy, and waited till another day. But there's always next time. He went back to his old mouse, he said. I thought his old mouse was gubbed. Anyway, doesn't matter. Take care, guys, and stay safe. And I don't know when I'll see you again, but it'll be sometime. And I'll bid you good night.